Let's move on to Arsenal, shall we, for a little while now. Mikel Arteta must hate international breaks more than anyone else. Well, more than almost anyone else. After yet another one of his key players picked up an injury, Gabriel Martinelli has undergone an MRI scan after complaining about pain in his right calf while away with Brazil. And of course, last week, Bukayo Saka sent back to Arsenal after he came off with an injury in that 2-1 defeat against Greece, while Martin Odegaard's out in the middle of November after he was injured with Norway in the last international break. It's tough, Cass, but when you've got so many international players, that is a chance you take.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, going back where me and Natalie had Mick McCarthy on the weekend, and we were talking about internationals, and he was talking about some of the fallouts with managers like Fergie because of international duty. And, you know, he has to call up his best team, Mick. You know, he was in a position, this is what all the countries have to do, pick their best players. They have to win games because they're under severe pressure, just like a club manager is. So they would hate international duty, knowing that they're probably going to lose one, maybe two, or like in Arsenal case, 3 over the last month or so in international duty. It can come as a big cost.
Unfortunately, from an Arsenal point of view as well, you look at Odegaard and Saka in particular, are they irreplaceable?
Well, Saka's number one in his right-hand side of Arsenal, that's for sure. Odegaard is the best passer, mover of the ball, apart from Kevin De Bruyne. I'd say he's up there. He's nearly as good. And at his best, he can match Kevin De Bruyne. So, yeah, they're massive losses to Arsenal.
I mean, as a manager, a top manager, this must be your worst nightmare. I heard Pep a week or so ago said he loves the international breaks because he just goes away. You know, puts his feet up. But what he won't love is the prospect of his players coming back injured. Yeah,
and they're coming from all over the world, Jim, aren't they? You mentioned Brazil there with Martinelli. That's a common theme, that you're sending players, 20-odd thousand miles away or whatever to play football, come back, crossing your fingers and hoping they come back and they're fine. But more often than not, there's one or two that always come back, got a problem, gaffer. That happens a lot.
Speaking of Arsenal, being reported this morning, the Gunners are not concerned by Real Madrid's reported interest in William Saliba. They're confident the Frenchman will remain at the club for the foreseeable future. Real Madrid reportedly identifying Saliba as a key target for next summer's transfer window. Are Real Madrid still the be-all, as far as players are concerned, the club to go to? If Arsenal win the Premier League title this season and go well in the Champions League, would that be they would be key reasons to stay, wouldn't they? Well,
there are vultures in football hanging over football clubs all the time to try and snatch their best players. There's no bigger vulture than Real Madrid. If they're after you, there's a good chance, because it's not only convincing the player, but it's the agents that get involved. It's the lure of Real Madrid. Look, winning and being successful is a great way of keeping players, Jeff. It really is. So Arsenal have to achieve that, because Saliba is playing to the level of being a Real Madrid player. But he's got to be convinced that Arsenal are going to be a successful and winning team and challenging to win the Champions League, because that's what Real Madrid do so often, isn't it?
Yeah. You've got to be careful what you wish for as well, because there are plenty of people who've gone to Real Madrid or Barca, wherever, and haven't succeeded. Look, Kylian Mbappe is not finding it straightforward at the moment.
No, well, I think his career has been, I wouldn't say spiralling, it's the wrong word. I'd probably just on the downwards slope, Jeff, of he's not the Kylian Mbappe of when he was 2018, who played for France, who was just unreal. And no one could stop him. He's not that player. He's still a great player, but he's not the Kylian Mbappe that was just ripping up everywhere on the football field.
You talk about William Saliba, and we talked about Saka and Odegaard. Are they irreplaceable? Saliba's a heck of a good player. Is he irreplaceable?
Well, yeah, I think everyone to a degree, Jeff. It's this. Look, we're talking about super high level, where there's elite, and this is the highest level. When once Real Madrid are interested in you, you know that that's the team that wins the Champions League more often than not. So when they're after you, the clubs, Arsenal got a problem. So they're going to have to put something in on paper. Look, he's just signed, didn't he sign a new deal like a year ago, new 5-year deal? So they've got him under contract for quite a while. They might have to throw another new deal at him. I'm sure they will, attempt to keep him even longer, get him under a longer contract. But it's going to be a problem. But that's great for Arsenal as a football club because it shows they're being successful. That a club like Real Madrid want one of their players.
Sporting upsets. Dom says Kenya beating the mighty West Indies in the 1993 Cricket World Cup group stages. Chelsea fans says, hi Jeff, how about the crazy gang? Wimbledon beating Liverpool in the FA Cup final. I was there. It certainly was a massive shock. And here's another one. Boris Becker winning Wimbledon,
17.
age 17, youngest ever. And that was astonishing, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he just burst onto the scene, didn't he? And you knew, Jeff, that he'd be there a long time as well. You know when someone wins at a very younger age and you think, as long as he don't get injured, he's going to be around a long time.
We've been talking about centre-backs, obviously, in terms of William Saliba. There's another story going around today. According to L'Equipe, Chelsea boss Enzo Maresca has agreed to follow Chelsea's policy of only playing Wes Fofana once a week until January. So far this season, Fofana started all 7 of Chelsea's Premier League games, with the clash against West Ham, the only game in which he didn't play 90 minutes. It's to try, obviously, he had horrific injuries, to try and reduce his workload. Well, look, I only work 2 days a week, so I really haven't got a place to comment on this. But this is the sports scientist's work, isn't it? One would assume.
You only have to look back in the history of football. There's been players that can't manage 2 games a week. You know, and Paul Maguire was managed for years of playing games of, very light training, but could be available for the weekend. Ledley King, one of the great centre halves in Premier League football, he couldn't do 2 games a week. It was common knowledge that you play him on Saturday, you won't be playing him in midweek because he won't make next Saturday. So there are certain players, like you said, Jeff, Wesley Fofana has had a lot of really bad injuries. From Leicester to coming to Chelsea, he was out nearly all of last season. You're going to have to manage him. That's just common sense.
Yes, it is. When you've got the alternatives available
Absolutely.
that Chelsea have got, it's definitely common sense, isn't it? Morning, boys. For me, the allure of Real Madrid is simply that big yellow thing in the sky that they have over there. It can't be for solely footballing reasons. I wish we could see that big yellow thing in the sky over here, but there's absolutely no sign of it.
Do you remember Georgian Lechkov? Right. Do you remember Lechkov, who played for Bulgaria?
Yes, yeah.
He joined Marseille in 94. Okay, 94, 95. I think anyway, he's joined, and I asked him why, because he spoke good English at the time. He come, and I said to him, Jordan, why did you choose Marseille? Because he had a number of clubs. He was playing in German football at the time, and he just pointed at the sun. I looked up at it. Really? I did that. Yeah. The sun.
Brilliant.
The south of France in the sun. It was very funny at the time, just him saying that.
The south of France in the sun does have a certain appeal, doesn't it?
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.